Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a video on my thoughts on the Series 11 teaser. Yeah, that in itself is kind of problematic, but we'll get on to that in a minute. Well, in a moment even. It's like the first thing I wrote down. But yeah, just got some notes here about stuff. I think... Yeah, I mean, I've watched it like 4 times now, so yeah, I want to say I have a better idea of what it is and that, but at first, I'll be honest, I was kind of ticked off because I think what really threw me off the edge for lack of a better term, was that a lot of fans, myself included, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, like, I thought it was a trailer, not a teaser, and I don't blame the fans more than the BBC and their marketing people, or the Doctor Who marketing people. What the fuck were you thinking? Like, you know, there was no Daleks, Cybermen, Sontarans, or anything but the most mundane sort of boringness. I mean, the Doctor thing, I guess, was cool. It was very... The word is not... I'm very conflicted with this, if you couldn't already tell, this teaser, because it kind of feels like a weird mesh between sort of some of the more fantasy aspects of maybe the Stephen Moffat era, but I'm only saying that based off the one thing that wasn't proper mundane and boring. And then the more mundaneness and human aspect of, say, the teaser, almost said trailer, teaser was reminiscent almost to, and if I keep looking over there, it's because I've got all my Doctor Who DVDs and stuff over that general side of my room, but it looks almost more, or harks back and gives me feelings of Russell T Davies's era, which obviously is nostalgic for me because of the fact that that was the era that I grew up with. But it's weird because it reminds me of that, but then it's going to be pushing the show in a new direction with a new female Doctor and, you know, all these new companions and everything's new and that. But yet, it felt, just purely as a teaser, it almost felt more like a BBC ident, like something they'd put on before you watch another programme or something, or just to say, this is the BBC, and that. It was very confusing, like, it was so mundane and just sort of in its location of where it was sort of set as a sort of teaser, that I almost didn't realise that it was the Doctor Who thing. I was like, wait, what? Like, I was kind of taken aback, like, and it wasn't until the 3rd time, get this, that I realised that the first person we meet is actually one of the companions. I was like, wait, what? Like, it was weird. I knew the girl and Bradley Walsh's character, I knew Bradley Walsh was in the new series, so I'm not completely, you know, being an idiot, but complete ignorance here, but yeah, so I knew he was in the Series 11, and he's very sort of obvious and noticeable and that, and then yeah, as I say, like, the girl was sort of, I'd seen one of those pictures and that, and some of the new promo pictures, so, and she stood out to me in those, so maybe just, for me personally, the first guy is just kind of bland looking as well, but then the biggest costume design thing that stands out really at the moment clearly is the long coat that the Doctor wears, so, and even then, I don't know, the coat's okay, I guess. I think it's just some of the other bits of the costume that I'm not too fond of, but I don't know, like, the teaser, I just wish they'd have cleared that up, that it was a teaser and not a trailer, because I was expecting, you know, like, at least, I don't know, 3 minutes, or, you know, also 3 or 4 minutes of something, you know, not 59 seconds, which it was. Another nitpick or thing with specifically the teaser outside of the context of the actual content or the core content that excuse me, that ticked me off was the fact that it said coming soon. You do realise it's been a year since she's been announced, and however many months since she was, you know, in the show, that it's sort of, I think, time that we get some sort of idea of a date, of a, you know, September, October, August time, or whenever, August through to October maybe. Like, we don't know, and I'm a really hardcore Doctor Who fan, and if I don't know when it is, how do you think Mr. Joe Bloggs is gonna know when it is? Do you know what I mean? Or everyone was probably hyped for this to find out when the actual thing is, and there's not been any clarity. And the thing in the magazine thing, I think, excuse me, said something like maybe it'll be September, I think. So I don't know, I think some people are running with September, some people are running with October. Again, I've heard as early as maybe August, which I don't think this year will be the case. I think it is definitely either September or October at this point in time. But yeah, okay, so moving on from the teaser, what about, the effect was really cool when she was moving about the place, which I wrote down here as time energy maybe, like maybe she's still sort of in the midst of regenerating or something, or it just looked kind of cool, that effect. It was very different, very fresh and new, and I quite like the tagline, the universe is calling, which is pretty cool, which is ironic though, considering that obviously the telephone box, which has the mobile phone device, has kicked her out of the TARDIS, so, which I think is pretty funny. But yeah, the time energy thing was pretty cool. As I say, like, that had a really cool effect. So it wasn't just boringly her just walking around the place and then just like sort of appearing at the end and that. Because that would have been even worse, I think, if they'd have just done that. The effect was really cool, both as in the CG effect sort of special effects sort of thing, and the effect on me as a fan. I think I like that bit. And that, you know, an air of mystery. Is she in the midst of regenerating? Maybe that is a regeneration-y thing. Maybe it's a time energy thing, as I just said before. Like, you know, maybe she's in flux currently or something. Like, because she walks past the pizza box and then it, like, you know, she gets new pizza sort of thing. But yeah, which was cool. Next thing I've wrote is that it's almost like a window into the companions' lives, almost, sort of like, where it's like, usually it's a case of us looking at the Doctor's life and seeing it through the companions, which I guess was still the case here, but as I say, it was the more mundane sort of settings, instead of, say, something like the library in the Series 10 teaser trailer thing, which still, in my head, almost has a fairy tale sort of thing. Who would have thunk it with a Stephen Moffat type teaser trailer? And then the last thing is, like, the thing about, like, the fact that, like, she didn't even say anything in this trailer either, so people are, like, still going to be like, oh my god, she's amazing, and it's like, well, she hasn't said anything. Oh my god, she's shit, because obviously she's a woman, and that's awful, and blah blah blah. Okay, I guess. You know, and the thing is, it's like, she hasn't even said anything besides, oh, that's brilliant, oh, brilliant, you know, and that, and the thing is, it's like me comparatively saying, like, oh my god, Chris Eccleston's amazing. Why? Because he said the word fantastic in that Chris Eccleston way. I wouldn't even have a point of reference as to know that that would be later his, obviously, catchphrase type thing. What I will say, though, right at the end of the teaser, I kind of like her smile. She has a nice smile, and that, and yeah, she seems happy. She seems like she's gonna be going on an adventure, and I hope that, obviously, being the first female Doctor, she does well, because otherwise I do think Doctor Who might not be around as long as I would like it to be, which would be a shame, especially with the fact that I think she'll get even more scrutiny, I think, from everyone that way as well, if it doesn't go too well. But from what I understand of interviews that I've seen here and there, she seems to be having a blast. So, and as I say, you know, indicative of the fact that, like, yeah, she seems to be smiling and happy and that. And you know what, if the people who are making the show truly believe what they're doing is right and they're happy with it, then I want to be happy as well. You know, what can I say? I like liking things. You know, I like liking things, and I know I say that, but then this has been a rather conflicting sort of thing for me, really. Which is annoying because me as a person, I really like being able to see things in a black and white way, and I don't see it as a weakness personally, but I know it can be in a lot of situations, not just this, but just generally in life. But yeah, because I'd gladly say, this was absolute shit, or this was absolutely brilliant, but I think it slap bang in the middle sort of has some good, has some bad, or has some good, has some bad. You know, it's just an amalgamation of, you know, good and bad, as I just said. So yeah, please do comment down below what you thought of the Series 11 teaser down in the comment section, and hopefully we'll get a trailer at some point, an actual trailer, not a fucking teaser. That was annoying. Of some sort of description of where the trajectory of the show might come or go, sorry, and a release date or air date, as well as, or even just a month maybe of when it might be, as well as maybe the actual air date, and some monsters would be nice as well. So yeah, please do comment, rate and subscribe.